lately I'm seeing something really sad where people are just, they're afraid to be themselves. They're not willing to be themselves. So I've got a few points I want to make on that. If you're afraid to be yourself because you're afraid that people won't like you, then you're already not liked by those people. But we'll come back to that. There's also this this big thing going on lately. It's, this cancel culture. And so this whole worry of being canceled, it means that you're not being yourself. And you, in effect, the real you, is already canceled. So you hiding who you are in order to not be canceled is you canceling yourself, because you're not you. You're somebody else. You're some just mask that you put on to be acceptable to everybody else. Another one, and I'm gonna go back to that point too. But we hold back a lot of times to keep friends, to gain friends, to have as many friends as we possibly can. But what you end up keeping, what you end up getting, they're not friends. They're your handlers. So because you're doing things to appease them and you're not doing things for yourself, they're in control of you and your actions instead of you being in control and you being happy being yourself, you letting that inner you, that wonderful you, that unique you, instead of letting that out, you're letting these other people control your behavior. They're not your friends. They're your handlers. So those are the 3 points that I want to go over. And so going back to the first one of being afraid that people won't like you, well, they're never really knowing you. And so you're living for those other people. You're so afraid that they won't like you that they never meet you. They never know you. They never get to hang out with you. And then you look at your life and how you're living and you say, well, gee, why am I not happy? Well, you're not happy because you're not you. I mean, be you. Don't be so afraid of that. Be more concerned with getting the friends who like you for you than having a whole big list of friends that don't even know you. Because at that point, it's not even you that they like. It's not you that they're friends with. And chances are you're not even friends with them, but we'll get to that in a second. So this whole worry about being canceled and how it stops you from being yourself, well, that one has just all kinds of implications. But like I said, the main one is that you're already canceled. So if you think of it from, groups or companies or whatever it might be, the eventual end to this is that you're left with only the people who complain all the time, the people who want to change other people, the people who want to sue people and cancel them and, make them lose their jobs or their businesses or whatever. And so you have those people, and then you have the people who are living in fear. And what essentially that boils down to is you have bullies and you have the people that are scared of the bullies. And so none of these are going to be productive people, whether it be in a business, in a religion, in a charity group, whatever it is. You're always going to have people that are scared, and so they're not going to be as effective as they would be. It sort of becomes this juggernaut that now you have to worry, well, what am I going to do, or how far is this going to go? And at some point, I'm going to be the one that they're going to come after. So no matter how good I am, when I say good, I mean no matter how good I am at pretending to be something or trying to fit in, eventually they're going to disagree with something that I have to say, and this juggernaut is going to come after me. And either I am going to have to kneel before this juggernaut, or I'm going to get canceled by the juggernaut. And that's what we're all afraid of. But if everybody stood up and said, no, you know what, I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be proud of being me, then this juggernaut loses all of its power. It becomes weak. Instead of a juggernaut, it's a little ant. Then my third point was, this holding back to keep friends. And this is very similar to the first one, but this one I kind of broke it off just because it is important to see that you're being treated like instead of an individual, you're being treated like kind of this slave or robot that has to answer to their handlers. And on social media, this is really big because people want to keep these friends on social media, because it looks good to have, 500 friends or whatever it might be. And don't bullshit me, you don't have 500 friends. That's not the way we evolved. At most, you have 150 people that you really know, and a very small percentage of that is going to be people that are really your friends, really honestly people who know you, who are your friends. So in social media, we have all these handlers that are watching what we do, and we have to pretend to be good and happy for them, and we have to pretend to like the things that they like, and we have to hit like on enough things, or we have to comment on enough things, or say the right things in our own posts. Otherwise, people are just not going to like us. And so what we tend to default to is showing how good our lives are in front of these handlers, how much we enjoy this life that has been sort of pushed upon us. And so if I go out there and do that, what I'm showing is everybody on my friends list that is the way that you're supposed to behave. And then they're reinforcing it by acting that way. And then their circles expand and expand beyond that to their friends and their friends. And eventually that circles back to me. And I'm in this feedback loop that's connected to these other feedback loops of everybody sort of ignoring their sadness, ignoring their true selves, and everyone just becoming more and more miserable looking at the wonderful lives of other people and these masks that other people wear. And it's all because you don't want these handlers to come after you. You don't want to let these handlers know how unhappy or out of place you are. You have to go along. And so it's kind of funny in social media because everyone thinks they're being unique, but I've been a part of different social media circles and stuff at different times in my life, and generally people are not being unique. Generally people are fitting in with whatever their preferred group is. And so you're trying to appease those people. You're trying to appease those handlers so that you can stay in that group, so that you don't get ostracized from the group, because to our brains, being ostracized is a form of death, because we think back to when we lived in tribes and we say, oh my God, if I get kicked out of the group, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to sleep in the huts anymore. I'm not going to be able to hunt with my buddies. I'm going to be out there in the cold on my own. I'm going to probably die. And so that's the same thing we think of when we think of getting kicked out of a group. But the reality is we don't need handlers. We don't need their groups. So these things are all what fit into what keeps us from being ourselves. And it's ridiculous. Get out there. Be yourself. Make real friends. You might only make one or two of them, but who cares? They're going to be fantastic friends. They're going to encourage you to be you. And you get to encourage them to be themselves as well. And you guys all get to break away from this fear, this control. And when you have these good friends, you always feel like you have a backup. So you're happy, you feel supported, but when you go the other route and you fall victim to all of these things, you feel like everyone's after you, like you're hiding all the time, because you are. And so, I'll say it again, just be yourself. Just be brave, be yourself. When enough people do that, we turn this pendulum back around, get it going the other way, and then it becomes common to be an individual. It becomes common to not fit in with this crowd. Like I said, even the people who think, well, we're part of the, the punk crowd, and our mission is to not fit in. Well, that's the whole punk crowd making it their mission to not fit in, so they're fitting in with the punk crowd. You see where I'm going with this? So that happens with every group. They all think they're unique and individuals, but you're not. You are acting along with the rules of your group. Stop it. Be you. You might fit in with that group. You might fit in with another group. You might fit in with several groups. And all of that is wonderful. So that's all I have to say on that. Be sure to hit like, and if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Have a great day.